Hello, everyone. In this podcast, we'll be talking about Australia's political and economical system. Commonwealth of Australia, also known as Australia, is an ocean country. It has a population of over 24 million people, covering a total area of 7 million square feet. It became official on January 1st, 1901, also known as Federation Day, when 6 British colonies, now the 6 states of Australia, had all agreed to form a union. Australia has a very unique political system. It is a constitutional monarchy, which consists of a king or queen, which acts as the head of state, whose powers are limited by the Constitution. The Constitution gives out rules and regulations of the government, and provides power in the 3 branches: legislative, executive, and judicial branch. The legislative branch of government contains the Parliament, which are the bodies that have the power to create and make law. The executive branch administrates the law, which are made by the legislative branch. And lastly, the judicial branch allows the establishment of the country's court of law and approval or removal of its judges. This system was constant since 6th of February 1952. Right now, Australia's head of state is Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen has no role in the political system and is just a simple figurehead. She is formally represented by the Governor-General. The Governor-General is in charge of setting bills, appointing ministers, and setting up departments of state. The way people vote in Australia is citizens over the age of 18 who are enrolled to vote elect people to represent them in the 2 houses of Commonwealth Parliament, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives. Australia is divided into areas called electoral divisions. Voters in each electoral division cast a vote to elect one person, a member of Parliament, to represent them in the House of Representatives. Voters in each state and territory elect senators to represent them in the Senate. States have 12 senators, and the Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Territory each has 2 senators. This system has many pros and cons about it. Some pros would be the continuity of the monarchy on the throne, which is usually a lifetime. Taking Queen Elizabeth as an example, she has ruled Australia for 64 years and probably might be continuing for the next few years. This is an advantage that it could create stable connection with other governments. Another advantage is a lower chance of corruption or misuse of authority and can't be brought off with campaigns and lobbyists. On the contrary, some cons would be as a monarch position is for life, there is no method to remove a poor or unworthy monarch. Another disadvantage would be is that a monarch can choose to not work for the people because he or she automatically inherits a title and has no responsibility for the people, which can leave the country in great danger, thus resulting in a lot of conflict.
Australia has 2 different economic systems. It is both a capitalist and socialist country. In a capitalist system, everyone is for themselves. Wages and resources are not split evenly. There isn't much government interference and everything is owned by the public. In a socialist system, the population gives their resources to the government, who then splits it evenly among the people. The government is in charge of most of the buildings, resources, etc. Both systems have their own pros and cons. A pro of capitalism is that people can own land, goods, and investments. There is less government interference and ownership, so the people can have more power. Another pro is that the system creates more political freedom for the people. People can create a society that revolves around what people want and not what the government wants. However, there are cons as well, one being that some people may abuse the system. Some corporations may pay unfair wages, not allow unions, and have unsafe working conditions. The second con is that even though money is there, the ability to financially grow is harder. This also creates bigger wealth gaps among societies. On to socialism. A pro is that it makes it easier to prevent environmental destruction, war, poverty, and intolerance. The reason being that everyone is equal, so less conflicts will appear. Another pro is that seeing as many problems seem to be caused by the capitalist system, and having a socialist system will eliminate the chance of having these problems. One con is that it holds back the technological revolutions such as telephones, electricities, and computer. In 300 years, the economy has expanded 17 times during capitalism. Socialism makes it slower to improve the economy because everyone has around the same GDP. In our opinion, Australia is not a good place to live in. Politically, the Queen can choose to not work for the people because she already has been given the title. In addition, there is a mix of 2 opposite economic systems, making it hard to decide whether or not they are beneficial. Currently, 2.5 million people are under the legally accepted poverty rate. Corruption in Australia is quite high, and it continues to increase. The inequality rates are much higher than average, but are still lower than the UK and US. Currently, Australia is involved with the Afghanistan and peacekeeping war, but we don't think it has been a big issue so far. Thank you for listening.